Approve the October minutes.
I approve.
Thanks, Joni. Can I get a second?
A second.
Okay. Got Mary for the second. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you. Just as a reminder, will be our last in-person meeting for this year. The December meeting will be on Zoom, and then we will be in this room next year, starting in January and then through May. And hopefully, knock on wood, we'll be able to have our Founders Day luncheon in June. So, but for this year, this is our last in-person meeting. So, just a few things. The board, when we met, we had talked a while back about doing some updates to the handbook, mostly because of the pandemic and so many things changed, and the way we notify people and cancellations of meetings. So each officer is doing an update to their office, and it's something that the general, everybody in the general membership doesn't need to approve. We were asked to do that because so many people are going to be leaving the board at one time. So we're going to have quite a new board starting in March, hopefully. And so we're all updating our information, and that will be in the handbook. Just so you know, that's something that we're doing behind the scenes. So. We had a request through Ravelry, and we thought it was a pretty good idea to do a knit-along because we haven't done a knit-along as a group in quite a long time. And we settled on a cowl. So we are going to, on Ravelry and on Facebook, put out several different patterns and have everybody vote. And whichever pattern wins the vote, we'll start a knit-along probably in January. Probably something different that'll have a lot of either different colors or maybe different stitches, or something that might catch everybody's attention. But we thought for the winter a cowl would be a good thing, and it's a great way to use up, especially if you've got fingering yarn, a skein yarn, to get it done. So keep an eye out for that. If you have any ideas of something that you've done that you think is a really nice thing for a knit-along, let anybody on the board know. And probably within the next, I would say, week to 10 days, we should have something out for people to vote on. So, and again, we'll start the actual knitting of that in January. Let's see. We also talked at the board about, and when we got back in person, we talked about the Zoom knit-ins, and that we were going to continue the Zoom knit-ins even though we're meeting back in person. But I checked with Mary Fisher, and I know for myself on the Wednesday night knit-in, since we're meeting back in person and since people's knit-ins are back in person, the attendance for the Zoom knit-ins has dropped to 0. So my Wednesday night, 3 months ago, I had 3 people. One person dropped off after about 10 minutes, so there was 2 people, and the last 2 months have been nobody. And Mary has had the same situation going on with her Saturday morning knit-ins. No one's signing in. So we're going to cancel the Wednesday night. Mary wants to keep trying for her Saturday morning. She thinks maybe there might be a market for it through the winter months. So she's going to keep her Saturday morning, 4th Saturday of the month, knit-in. But the Wednesday night, we're going to just let it trail off into the sunset. So. Unless I hear differently from a lot of people, because a lot of people said, just please do it, and all those people that said, please don't stop doing it, have not come. So obviously they're going somewhere. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure that you knew that. And speaking of knit-ins, and Joan will talk about this a little more in her portion, we are updating all that information. As people are getting back together, they're asking us about knit-ins. So we're going to get all of that information fully updated. If you are in charge, or the person in charge of your knit-in, you probably have received an email from Joan asking for updated information. If you have a new knit-in and you haven't heard from Joan, please reach out to her. That is also on Ravelry. You can either email her or look out on Ravelry. There's a post out there for updates. Today we had 2 free tables of stuff. In case you didn't know, there's a free table over here with a bunch of patterns, a couple of books, and some pamphlets. Back in the back, that was Nancy Heron's yarn. Is that correct, Christine?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, also a free table back there for yarn if you want to take a look through that. Oh, let's see. Oh, I think this is my last thing. Finally, I just want you all to. please stop inundating me with all of your emails and texts and voicemails about wanting to be on the board. Cannot handle anymore. So, I told you you're going to hear about this every month until we get a full slate. So, seriously, if you are considering joining the board, let us know. We would like to get a slate of candidates by the end of the year so that we can go into the new year kind of knowing what's going on, and so that those people that say that would like to be on the board can come to we do our Zoom, our board meetings by Zoom, so that they can join a couple of meetings just to know what we do and what's going on. So please consider it. It's a lot of fun. You would enjoy it very much, I promise. So I think that's everything for me. So, Kate.
So my update's very brief. I just wanted to thank Sarah for a great job as our new newsletter editor. Her first newsletter was in November. She did a really great job. We're very grateful for her. So thank you, Sarah. It was a great newsletter.
Sarah, stand up. So
Yes, stand up, Sarah.
Oh, I put nothing. It was really fun.
I'm
It
glad.
is really fun.
See, it's fun to do stuff for the guild. It's fun to do stuff, and you'll get shout outs. Join the board. The only other thing I wanted to say, and I thought about this just as a communications VP. We're coming up to the holidays, and if you're on Instagram, I would encourage people to follow indie dyers that they like. There are a lot of sales that are coming up, and I say that because yesterday, an indie dyer that I follow had her whole catalog of yarn 70% off. Wow. So I got indie dyed yarn I got 2 skeins for $15. So I'm just a tip as your communications VP. Use social media to your advantage. Follow the people that you like. And if any of them are people who have donated to the guild, let them know that that's how you heard about them. Because while I know we're doing well for gifts for this year's Founders Day, we do ask for donations from time to time. So it's just a good way to support our dyers, our makers, and give the guild a shout out in the meantime. So keep an eye out for that, just for yourselves. I know we all need more yarn, but 'tis the season and there's good deals out there. And that's all I have.
Hi, I'm Joan Rangel. I'm the Community Service VP, and our charity donations are just wonderful. As you can see, we've still got a lot. I didn't count anything from the table, but last month we received 185 hats for kids and adults, 49 chemo hats, 39 baby hats, and I also got another 38 baby hats in between that someone dropped off at the house. We have 3 baby blankets plus another 8 that came in, 3 baby sweaters, 3 towels, 2 pair of mittens, and 69 scarves plus another 20. So we're doing really good on our hat challenge, or our scarf challenge. We've got 485 scarves.
Wow.
So I figure we only need about 30 more to reach our goal of a half a mile. So I know we can do it, and if we don't, we'll just keep counting them until we do. So, but I'm going to actually be at the headquarters library the day of our Zoom meeting. Since we're not meeting in person, you can drop off any kind of donations you want, 10 o'clock to 11:30 on the second Saturday of December, which I didn't write the date down, but it's there's going to be a notice in the newsletter, so you can look that up.
John, are you going to be in the same place?
I'm going to be on the parking lot. If you face the library where you come in at the traffic light, I'll be over on the right-hand side. I may have my my husband's black car, or it'll be my little blue car, but I have the little sign that'll be in the window. So let's hope for good weather, because we've had some cold days and some rainy days, and not a lot of good days back in the spring, so it's kind of nice to be able to be here. We've collected over 1,200 hats for kids and adults, and those will be distributed to 18 organizations, and I think there's going to actually be another 2 that someone had asked for some today, so 20 organizations, and I'll make a full report of who all gets everything either in January or for the annual report, probably January. So, I mean, if anybody needs hats, I think a lot of the requests come in at this time of the year. I can still try to accommodate any, but most of them have been assigned to groups. The Hat Knit-Along Challenge was the Granite Relief Stitch hat that Jane Benefield had designed. I remember when she was at a meeting once, she was working on this hat, and I said, I really like that pattern. She goes, oh, it's just this Granite Relief Stitch, so you needed to write that up. So the pattern is in the November newsletter, but it's also in our Guild website on the anniversary, Guild pattern book. And as you probably heard from the newsletter last month, Jane passed away. She succumbed to cancer. I don't think anybody knew she had it, but this is her last batch of hats. She was always just a prolific knitter. So, she does lovely, lovely work. So, she was a neat gal, so we'll miss her. And, but she did, have another donation a friend had passed on to us. Please pick up yarn in the back. I still have a lot in my garage. I don't want the mice to decide that they like it. So I've got it all boxed up and it's going to my back porch. But if there's something that it's going to be a cold winter, you're going to need something to make blankets and scarves. You can always use the heavier items. So please help yourself to that. As far as the I do need to see a couple people, but I think I've already touched base that I have hats in the trunk. Cindy and Katie and Pam and Vicky and Mary. So if you guys can catch up with me at the break, we will make the swap of the hats for your organizations. And the knit-in, I've taken off all the library, just to make it a clean list so you don't have to hunt and peck. Because all the libraries are pretty much not meeting, I just put a note that said, knit-ins are currently not being held at the following. Myers House didn't know what they were doing yet, so it's not like we can't add them back in, but I wanted, we've had a couple comments of people going, oh, I want to join a knit-in, and it's like, I'll go there. It's like, well, there's a lot of them that aren't meeting, so this is going to be, I think we just have one Zoom meeting that's the kids knitting it forward, and then the Friday, or Saturday, the one that Mary Fisher's doing. Those are the only two by Zoom, but we do have quite a few that are in different areas, so I'm going to wait to hear from a few more people, and then that'll be, I hope to get that at least updated on the website in the next week or two. So as long as I hear from people, otherwise I'll just take it off, and when we hear back, maybe in the spring, I'll contact everybody again, and maybe we can add everybody back on the list, because everybody's anxious to knit with everyone. I think that is all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Joan, where will you post the list when you got it completed?
Actually, there's 3 places that you can find the list. On the website, it's on the members only. It says members area, and if you drop down, there's a neighborhood knit-ins list, and it'll be pretty much just a copy of this. But because this has personal information, emails, and phone numbers for our members, that's not the version you'll see if it just a visitor wants to go. It'll just have, that information, and they can contact somebody and say, hey, that's a good time, because a lot of them are still looking for new people. The other place is kind of buried, and I'll put a link, but on Ravelry, it's way out of date, so don't even try to find it. But if you go on Ravelry and you look up on a tab that says pages, there are several different things there. One of them is the knit-ins. There's also chemo hat patterns and some other things, but I'll put links to those so that you can find out where they are. And we'll put it in the newsletter. If it's this small, I think we can take up a page of the newsletter, so it'll be there, and it's, it'll try to keep up with it from now on, so we're not, out of date. And if you have a new knit-in, please let me know, and we'll get it added and publicize it. So thank you. I think that was all I had. Check out the nice stuff up here. I didn't pull another one out, but yeah, check it out.
Hello. I really don't have anything to say except that we have 37 people here today, and I want to welcome new members Heather Swan, Sarah Seegist, and Lillian Nearing. And And again, if anybody has anything they wanna donate to the guild for, attendance prizes or luncheon or potluck prizes, contact either me or Eileen. Eileen's in St. Charles and I'm over here in St. Louis. And that's about it.
Hello, I am Samantha Manchefs, I'm the treasurer. I don't know if anybody had any questions about the September treasurer report, which was in the newsletter. I actually have the October one with me, just because, the end of October's happened. Income, again, we're not, getting very much income. We had the room rental deposit return, for Brentwood. We did have expenses. We are back to getting badges created. And then we also had the room rental, the Brentwood room rental for the next few months. Our website hosting also came due, and then the Founders Day expenses also happened. And then the Zoom, the monthly Zoom expense for a total of $1,532.19. So our ending balance for the end of October was $15,788.57. Any questions? Treasurer is, one of those great positions that's coming open. And I will help. So I will not just drop like it's hot on you or mic drop. So I'll help with the transition. So, and that's all. That's it.
Hi, I'm Eileen McKelvey. I am the co-administrative vice president with Joni, but today I'm Tony. So I have the prizes. So the first prize goes to Robin Reynolds. Some glittery stuff for some Christmas, bling, ornaments. The next prize is a yarn. There's two yarns here. One is a chenille and one is silk with a pattern for a silk wave scarf. And that should go to Cindy Mill something. Mitch, who was the last person to sign in today. You get a prize for being last. Next, for Lynette Mills, we have a skein of yarn. It's organic merino with a protector bag of some kind that looks like it would fit. And now we have, this is small, but it is about 1,200 yards of lace weight pink silk. And a little felt notions bag. And this is for Lynette Mills.
No, you just gave
No, sorry, wrong. Diane Wolf.
Every time.
Every time?
Every month.
No.
I'm gonna start erasing your name.
And the last gift is a grab bag, and it is the bag, literally. It has a wild red pom-pom. And I took a look at the donation table back there. There is some red yarn that would match this if you want to do a hat. So all set. A little sheep. And a very nice needle gauge. And it's a metal one, and it's nice because it goes all the way down to the 000s. So those can be hard to find. A little grab bag of goodies. And let's give that to Harriet. Rose? Harriet? Thank you. Good one today. That's the prizes for today. Thank you.
My name is Lynette, and this is a Stephen West. I got the book. He had all kinds of shawls in it. I made it last year. It's called the Chrysler Shawl. It was really fun to make, and it's sock yarn.
Oh, wow.
Take my mask here. This is a pattern called the Tracks at Union Station, which is a Joe Strong pattern. So it's cables and lace, and the yarn is Madelinetosh limited edition, super soft UK. Okay.
I'm Dee Dee Baker, and I've got two items here. This is a sock that I've been working on. I dyed the yarn, and so it's self-striping and kind of a Victorian colors, not bright Christmas red, but it's a red and green. And it's just what I do for my sock, so there's really no real pattern. And then for this is the holiday doodle hat or cowl. They have little yarn cup holders that are cute. It's really cute, so you should look it up. And I dyed these yarns to go, and I've just started this like yesterday, so I'm not very far with it. But I'm just getting into the color changes. She has, I think the hat pattern's like 13 pages. There must be 24 little motifs that once you've done your brim, then you start doing your motifs on it, and they're all little holidays. She also has a fall doodle, a cowl, I believe it is, with a bunch of different things like coffee cups and leaves and fir branches, little things like that. So it's a real cute pattern, and it's, to be honest with you, I forget the name of the designer, but that's the way it goes. All right, thank you.
Yes, we have to take your picture. No.
I will give it to you in a minute, because I'll forget if I. This is Lisa Hanna's design. It's a Malabrigo yarn, and it's regatta blue. Like everything else in my closet, it's blue. So the only thing that's a little hard to show off
That part of it, yeah.
that part of it, because I really want to put it in section.
And I've got two things to show this month. A couple months ago I showed you my Nathan gnome, and this is the companion. This is Norwin, and it's a girl. And so Sarah Shira. She has knit-alongs all the time, or mystery knit-alongs. And the thing I like about Sarah Shira's knit-alongs is I always learn something new. For example, this welting on the hat. So it's always, even if you're not into gnomes too much, it's worth doing one just for what you'll learn. The second thing is, this is the Sharon Show by Andrea Mowry. It was designed by her cat Sharon from Security. And it's a sampler shawl. Yeah, by Casapenka, but it was designed by Casapenka's cat. And that. So anyway, but another way to learn some great new stitches. Thank you.
Did that come as a kid, or did you put those colors together?
I put the colors together. This is Miss Babs Katadin, and actually, if you look on her website, I was one of the few who actually did bright colors, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Susan Rosbeck, my Frankenstein monster. I took about 2 years to make this guy because the pattern is from a book called Knit Your Own Zombies, and every piece is 2 pieces. So the head is 2 pieces you have to seam. The body is 4 pieces you have to seam and put together. I would never do it again that way. It was really painful, and that's why it took so long, but he's really, and I thought I was making him for myself, but apparently my son and my husband say I was making it for my husband. So, but he's in my house, so I'm okay with that, but he's really nice.
He's cute. Yeah. Hi, I'm Vicki Berry. I don't think I've showed this before, but it's one of the first pieces I started knitting when I got back into knitting literally 10 years ago. And I was on a trip to Portland, Oregon, and went to, there were 10 million yarn stores up there at that time. And I found this Debbie Bliss luxury Donegal tweed chunky that was kind of on closeout. So I bought every skein they had, and then found this pattern, which is a Debbie Bliss pattern, and it's a one-sleeved wrap. So you put one sleeve in it, and the other just comes over. And it was my first foray with cables. And as I said, I had a ton of yarn left, so I kind of made up my own little sleeveless mitten with the cable on it as well. And then I just wanted to share, when you have bigger pieces like this and that are chunkier, I found these hair breadths or hair ponytail things make really great shawl pins. And it's a blunt end, this end's a blunt end, so it doesn't snag. So it just keeps it in place a little longer. Thank you. Oh, no,
Okay, I'm showing this because the baby has been born, and by our January meeting, hopefully it'll be finished. And I don't know if you can tell what it is.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse, yes.
that's cute.
Isn't it?
Cute.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Oh, you got something? Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well, I made a hexagonal market bag for Laura's birthday. We were on a bus trip, so that's what I made when we were on our New England trip with the long leaves. So.
That's cool.